Welcome to the Project-Based Learning Cycle on Planning and Assessment in a PBL Unit. In this cycle, you will plan and organize an overview of a PBL unit. We will provide a storyboard template and walk you through the beginning steps of making your project authentic and relevant by setting benchmarks and embedding assessments. We will examine ways to assess your students throughout the PBL unit with formative assessments and rubrics. We will use the project idea, Waiting on the World to Change, from PBL Works as a springboard for our work in this cycle. You can find the PDF of the project card in the Resources section of this cycle. Read the overview on the first page of the project card and consider how you can make this project work in the context of your classroom. You will notice that this project is anchored to ELA and social studies standards as students work to answer the driving question, how can we make change happen in our community? Examine the standards you use at your school and determine which standards you will use for your project. Keep in mind that activism applies across all content areas. Use the questions on the Bringing This Project to Life section of the project card to guide your thinking about how you can make this project authentic and relevant to your school and community. A storyboard helps teachers plan and organize an overview of a project-based learning unit. You will find a storyboard template in the Tinker section of this cycle. The first part of the storyboard helps you anchor the project to an authentic context that your students will find relevant and meaningful. Consider how you can connect your students to a problem, a question, or cause in your community that they can learn about and have a voice in solving. The entry event sparks interest and gets students excited about the project. It should lead to a desire to learn more and inspire your students to ask questions. Kicking off your project-based learning unit with a well-planned entry event will create great momentum to fuel the project. Some great ideas for entry events include virtual or on-site field trips, guest speakers, a video made by the teachers about the content, community issue, or problem, a gallery walk of photographs, or a play or simulation. Project boards help keep students stay focused and organized throughout a project. The age of your students and their experience with PBL can help you determine whether to use a physical or digital board. Check out the resources in this cycle to see examples of different types of project boards teachers use in their classrooms. These boards often include the learning targets, the driving question, key vocabulary words, statements of what students already know about the content, and questions about what students would like to learn more about. They also include a project calendar and ideas for how students will show mastery of what they have learned through a final product. It is important to also have a pre-made rubric on what is expected of students from the beginning of the project until the end, so that as they work, they can reference it for clarification and review. A driving question is open-ended and gives students the autonomy to question and research content that is meaningful to them while also learning the content of the standards used throughout the PBL. In this project, the provided driving question is, how can we make change happen in our community? If you would like to make it more concrete for a younger group of students, you could revise the question to, how can we make a change in or insert your own town or city? Examples of driving questions could be, how can we make change happen in our community? How can we redesign a public space to make it more environmentally sustainable? How can observing the natural world help us find solutions to human problems? How can we, as historians, design an interactive digital tool for a local museum, historical society, or archive that demonstrates our local community's influence on a period in history? Collaborating with colleagues and using the backwards design process is effective in designing a PBL unit. The backwards design process is a method of planning that begins with setting end goals and determining how students will show mastery before designing learning experiences and forms of assessment. After you determine the content standards and driving question that will anchor your PBL unit, it's time to develop ideas for the types of final products your students could create. A public final product is an opportunity for students to demonstrate their learning in an authentic way. Some projects may include more than one product. Some teachers may brainstorm a list of possibilities and ask students to choose from that list, while others might give students open-ended choice to determine what type of product they want to create. Some ideas for final products are service projects. Student-created public service announcements. A presentation to an authentic audience, such as a school board or city council. A podcast written and created by the students. Or an art installation open to the parents and the community members. Benchmarking a project is an effective way to plan the major milestones and to ensure that you are being intentional about embedding formative assessments throughout the unit. Read the article or listen to the podcast on Jennifer Gonzalez's Cult of Pedagogy website to learn more about how one PBL expert, Jenny Perrott, uses benchmarking to effectively plan a project. A high-quality PBL unit includes multiple opportunities for teachers to assess students to ensure that they are learning the content. Embedded formative assessment is the key to helping teachers and students understand their learning progress. It is indeed the bridge between teaching and learning. There are many technology tools that teachers can use for formative assessments. Formative assessments are done throughout the project to provide the teacher and the students with data. This data allows students to see their growth in knowledge of the content standards and provides information the teacher can use to inform his or her instruction. These tools give students opportunities to demonstrate their learning in a variety of ways and equip teachers with the ability to provide timely and meaningful feedback. Tools like Flipgrid allow students to share ideas, reflect, and showcase learning by creating video recordings. While tools like Google or Microsoft Forms help teachers develop more traditional forms of assessment, like quizzes or a ticket out the door. Tools like Quizzes and Kahoot include capabilities to gamify assessment while still collecting student learning data. Some teachers use digital portfolios to help students document their learning and reflect on the process. Students can upload artifacts throughout the unit to a platform like Seesaw, Microsoft Sway, or Google Sites. This is also a great way to share student work with families. Rubrics are an important tool that students and teachers use throughout the PBL unit. A rubric should accompany the final product so students understand the components and expectations at the beginning of the unit. Rubrics help students give and receive feedback, so they should be used throughout the unit, not just at the end to produce a grade. Rubrics can also include elements related to content as well as skills such as public speaking or collaboration. Browse the rubrics included in the resources section of the PBL Works website to help you develop a rubric for your project. After you explore the websites, articles, podcasts, and videos in the resource section of the cycle, you are ready to create an artifact of your learning. Create an account at PBL Works to access their project library. Then find a project that you want to try with your class and read the overview on the project card. You will notice that the project card includes questions to consider that will help you tailor the project to the context of your school and community. Use the storyboarding template located in the Tinker section of the cycle to plan and organize the project to personalize it for your students. Step 3. Complete the post-cycle reflection. To complete this cycle, you will upload your Tinker artifact into the LinkSpring cycle and complete the Grow at Reflection. The Grow reflection helps you think about what you learned and guides you as you consider the changes or improvements you can make to your instructional practice by implementing project-based learning in your classroom. If you would like to extend your learning from this cycle, we challenge you to create your own PBL unit that aligns with upcoming content that you plan to teach. Use the project planner found on the PBL Works website to create this unit. We can't wait to engage and learn with you on this project-based learning road trip. Have fun!